let's see. Let me fix some things here real quick. Yeah, that's not the right one. Should probably rename these, but whatever. There we go. Look at me. I'm huge, dude. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Oh, thank God Streamlabs has a fucking Control Z plus. Alright, we gotta make some changes here real quick, alright? Just a few little things here. Turn that on. Look at me, boys. And girls. And non-gender people. Look at me. We're figuring it out. We're doing the thing. Look, there's two of me. I don't know if that's really something we want, honestly. But, look. Two. Anyways. Stop with the foolishness. There you go. Anyways. I'd love to hear how everybody's doing. Want to know how you're doing. What you're up to on this wonderful day. Oh, no. Come on. Really help if I wasn't like charging all of my shit. Like, I went to boot up the stream and it was like, yeah, well, your keyboard and your mouse are both about to die. And I'm like, oh, that's sick, dude. I really appreciate that. Really, really love that. It's great. What is Creative Labs or Creative Cloud open for? Get out of here. We don't need you right now. Anyways, we chilling, basically. Ain't much going on, ain't much really to do till Billy gets here. So we'll just patiently wait on him. But let's see, what have I been doing? What have I been up to? I played some Ghost of Tsushima this morning. That was good. Went outside for like an hour. I escaped my home. Not really. My wife wanted me to go swim. So we went to go swim in the apartment pool. That was quite good. Pool water is weird. I don't like cold pool water. It's really annoying. Especially like it's just really, really uncomfortable on your sensitive areas. Regardless of your sex. It's just an uncomfortable experience. Anyways, the water was warm. It was good. Not like somebody like heated the water, but it was like comfortable. So that was good. Got some food. Got a nice hearty pizza from an Italian place. That was good. What else have I done? Oh, I played Rainbow Six with Daryl yesterday, and a friend of ours, and that was really fun. I had a good time with them. I enjoyed that a lot more than I thought I was, and I did a lot better than I thought I would, honestly. So, that was a good time. The Rainbow Six community is still weird and kind of salty, honestly. I don't know why they're so salty, but they are. So, but yeah, what the fuck did I do Friday? What did we do Friday? Do you remember? I don't even remember at this point what we did Friday.
You worked.
Oh yeah, I worked and then we streamed. What did I? I played Grounded with Billy and Billy, Daryl, and one of our other friends. Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, my memory's fucking atrocious. Like apparently I can't even remember what the fuck I did 2 days ago. Like I just whatever. It's not important anymore. Delete. So. Maybe I have like ADHD, dude. That's why I can't remember shit. Or maybe it's just that I hit my head too many times as a kid. I got like 3 concussions as a kid.
Jesus.
I probably have like brain damage for real. Should probably get that checked. I told you about that, dude. There was the first time I got a concussion, I got blown over by the wind. Like literally. I was sitting on a chair, and it was cold. I lived up in the north, so it was fucking cold. And I had my hoodie, and I put my hoodie over top of my like my knees, and we were outside because my elementary school used to do this like teacher student kickball thing every year, and obviously like the teachers would win most of the time, you know, because they're fucking adults and we were like 10. But I was like, I don't really want to play, and everybody was like, yeah, that's probably for the best because your face is a ball magnet, and I would just always get hit with the ball, like right in the face, man, every time. Anyway, so I was cold and I'm all bundled up. I'm like sitting on my chair, you know, with my knees up like this. Got my hoodie over me. I'm all huddled up. Got my arms inside the hoodie, and my teacher was like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. You're going to get blown over. Like, what if the strong wind comes? And I was like, man, my grandma always tells me that shit. I ain't never fall over from the wind. And then I did. I got blown the fuck over by the wind. Cracked my damn head. I didn't bleed. So that was good, but I was, the room was a spinning. And by the room, I mean the outside. The outside world was a spinning. The second time I got a concussion was in the same year. I got pushed over by some kid coming in from recess. Like, he didn't mean to. And he just, like, chucked me, like, right in the shoulder, just, like, in that weird spot. And he totally threw me off balance, and I just knocked my fucking head on the ground. That one was worse, though, because I actually lost consciousness. I got knocked the fuck out. It was like some Call of Duty shit where I like woke up and like everything was spinning and shit, and I was like they were walking me down the hallway, and then I remember being in the nurse's office, and that's really about it. I don't remember much else from that day. I got fucked up. The worst part about the ball magnet thing was that the dude that would always hit me in the face was the biggest kid. Like the biggest, bulkiest motherfucker in like the 4th grade. And he was one of my good friends too. So he never like intentionally fucked me up. It just so happened that he would always fuck me up. And I was like, I love you, dude, but I don't want to play on the other team against you ever again. Like, you always fuck my shit up. He's a good guy. But, yeah, childhood is weird. It's 4:14. I tried to give Billy the benefit of the doubt, and then Daryl just roasted him anyways, and he was like, "No, Billy ain't doing shit." I was like, "Damn, dude, what the fuck?" It looks like he's on mobile. Should I give him a call? Is he ready? Is it good? I don't want to like think he's ready and he's not. But I don't have any messages from him, so I don't know. Oh, he's offline now. But fuck you, Billy. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, the whole point of the stream is I really wanted to plug Billy's stuff because I'm proud of him, and proud of his team for really like working on something and getting it out. Cause like I don't know, like dude, we shit on fucking developers so hard, but I think that's cause like there's an expectation when you're like, okay, like I make like $60,000 a year and I'm like at one of the better studios. Like, yeah, we have expectations that you will probably put out a quality product. Now, you shouldn't like personally get hate for that. In my opinion, like I don't feel like you should like go to somebody's Twitter and be like, yeah, you're a piece of shit. Like, don't do that. But like, I think it's fair to be like, hey, like we had expectations based on what you showed us and the pedigree of your studio, and they were not met. I think that's fair. But like, this is like some dudes that like scrounged up some money to try to get this shit done and did it themselves. Like, they didn't have funding or anything from anybody else, as far as I'm aware. I think maybe they, the EU has some stuff, and I don't know if the UK does with like grants and stuff for game development. So maybe they were able to get some funding from there. That's just speculation. But like, for the most part, like you have to do that shit on your own, especially if you're outside of there and you're in America. Like, if you want to just make a game in America, yeah, good fucking luck, bro. You gotta do that shit in your free time and hope that shit lands and is really good and a hit. Because if not, like, even if you sell a couple hundred copies, like, it's still worth it, you know? I did forget to mention, I got a key for this game that I bought because I wanted to support Billy. And so I got my own copy, and then I got a copy to give away, which I still haven't done. I keep forgetting to do that. So I think this will be the day. So I'll like DM whoever ends up, kind of wanting it. And please only take it if you actually like plan on playing the game and you really want to, like, you're actually interested in it. If you're not interested and you just want some free shit to sit on your computer, please don't take it. I really want Billy to have the chance to, like, get his game and his team's game, like, in the hands of somebody who actually wants to give it a shot. I can't really control what you do after I give the keys out, so, like, whatever, but I just want people to at least try out what him and his team have done, because I think that doing so takes it's a lot of work and it's a lot of effort, and it's just really hard even when you're about to push publish, like, to just be like, yeah, like, look, like, all that, and I'm afraid of criticism, or I'm afraid of people being like, this game is shit, like, so, like, and I totally get that, because I've put out a couple of videos in the recent days that have been really fucking annoying. For anybody who's watched on stream, we did a chat on our community, and we did a chat on why Xbox can't really get a fair shake, and I had a whole bunch of people that were just, not a whole bunch, but a hand, 2 or 3 people here that were just like, oh, you're a dipshit, blah 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 blah, you don't know shit about Xbox. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I don't know shit about Xbox. I only followed news in the gaming world every week and did a show on it for like 3 years. I don't know shit. You're right, I don't know fuck all. It's because I said whatever the fuck his name is, Don Matrick. I don't fucking know. Who cares? I said his name wrong, so people got all fucking pissy with me about it. Well, one guy got all pissy with me about it, and then some Sony fanboy got all pissed off at me. So I don't know. It's all dumb. It's all very dumb. Fanboyism is stupid. It's so tribal. It's so dumb. It is super annoying. And I just don't really have time for it. I don't have the energy to care anymore. Like, I'll reply to people because it kind of helps with the algorithm, like if they're being dicks or whatever, but for the most part, I really don't have any interest in talking to you if you're going to be an asshole to me. Like, I just don't. At all. So, yeah. That's pretty much all I got. I got nothing. I'm trying to filibuster for Billy hard as fuck right now, and I'm doing a really terrible job, honestly. But that's okay. Sometimes streams don't go as planned. Apparently Billy, even though he lives in a different time zone, and I courteously give him the exact time in his time zone that I need him to be available, is still really fucking terrible at telling time. I hope he sees this just so I know I give him shit. I love Billy though. He's legitimately one of the best people I know. He's super sweet. He's a good guy. But I do like giving him shit. I'm trying to find something interesting to give y'all, honestly. And I got fuck all. That's what I got. This is not how this was planned to go, but that's okay. Let's see. What can we do? What can we do, friends? Got any bullshit we can fill with? Got any dumb games we can play? Like, I'm a boomer, so I don't play on my PC. Let's see. I literally probably only have... No, I have Undertale. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna start playing the game. Billy can join when he joins. And, yeah, that'll be fine. It'll be all good. What the fuck am I doing? Nope, that's not it, fam. There we go. We did it. Oh, yeah. Hello, I trust you, Billy. Fucking Billy, dude. I love him. But fuck's sake. I was like, Billy, I should have just shown like what I said in the chat to him, where I was like, Billy's a good boy. I'm sure he deserves some rest, and he's a good guy. And now I'm like literally shit talking to him 5 minutes later. I'm like, Billy, you fucking dickhead, get in here. Like, where the fuck are you? I forgot. I gotta ask him if there's controller support for this, because I fucking hate playing on keyboard and mouse. Is the chat not popping up? The chat is not popping up. I fucked it up. It's all good. Yeah, I saw. I don't want to call him out on it. You know? I love Billy so much to do that too. Source, chat box. I don't even. I don't know. Make it 450. Fuck it. Who cares? So like 300. I don't know. Yeah, that's fine. Put the chat right down there. Hopefully the chat should show up now. Can you send a text message for me, though? It'd be great. This is what I get for having wireless shit and not. Oh good. It's not. It's not showing. It's not fresh. Fucking your problem. Well, we fucked it up. Whatever. Does not have to be good enough. I don't feel like fucking with it right now. So anyways. Yeah, it probably helped when I was in the right one good. That would be fun. I would love to do that. That would be a good time. I think that would be good. Because we do so much shit talking, dude. Get this pulled up. That way, whenever the fuck Billy shows up. I forget. Can I only send like real shit with a fucking mouse pad? Okay, I can jump with arms. Let's get this. I had to turn the music off because it like was fucking eardrum. Okay. Alright, I'm fucking it all up. Throw like hella fucking acorns at these things and they just don't die. Come on, you fucker. Oh, I gotta be like on top of the guy. Spiky spikes. Okay. Am I double clicking? Is that what I'm fucking at? I think I'm double clicking. I don't. No? Oh. Nope. Yeah, okay, I see what's happening. I think the environment art is getting in the way. I'm not really sure. I gotta ask Billy about this when he gets in here. I gotta ask him where I'm fucking it up. Cause I'm not grasping the basics here. And that's what's fucking me up. Cause I've been trying to beat this for like a hot minute, no lie. And I saw apparently kick it past the first level of my friend's game. So it's always great. like, yeah, dude, I'm Mr. Pro Gamer. I play video games, but I can't beat this first level. Oh shit, you guys are hearing the music because I unmuted it. Whoops. Let me turn that down just a little bit. It's really loud, and unfortunately I can't change the volume settings, I don't think. Ah, shit. There we go. Yeah, I gotta ask him about controller support on PC. Cause I can't keyboard and mouses, dude. I can't fucking do it. To be honest, I probably would have bought it on mobile. If there isn't, oh fuck, if there isn't controller support. Yeah, he's on dev time, dude. You know how that works. Yeah, I'll get that done for you right away. Fucking 6 months later. Oh yeah, I've been working on it. Yeah, it's almost done. Don't worry about it. I swear, it's almost done. Yo, I did that like 3 days ago. Oh, there you go. See, I can't even make fucking jumps. Bitch. Yeah, I gotta ask him about the throwing of the, dude, I legitimately am so bad at keyboard and mouse that it took me like 3 times of playing this level to understand that I could even throw the acorns. I legitimately had no idea what the acorns were for. I thought maybe they were like a Mario like system, and like, oh, if I collect like 100 acorns, I like get an extra life or some shit. But alright, no, I can't. I gotta look at the fucking controls. Alright. Left mouse, fire, acorn. Alright. I have no idea what this pause button is for. I have to ask him. I also have to ask him. I have lots of questions for Billy. Because I like a lot of what they did this. Like, the art style is really cool. The font's really nice. It's really smooth. Like, there's no real frame drops or anything like that. Come on. I wish I could map WAS instead of spacebar, personally, but like, I've given up on the like customizable controls thing. Like, for most games, like we're not at that point yet where like I'm gonna get customizable controls for games. In most games, like, you know, I'm going back to my original plan. Fuck these things. Possums or some shit. Fuck you, possums. Assholes. Oh no, moving blocks. Whatever will I do? You're gonna fool me, Billy. I've been shit talking Billy this whole time. This was supposed to be like, I was supposed to be like, what's the hip term? What's the hip term when you're like trying to hype up your friends? What's that term, babe?
What? I don't know.
What? I heard something.
Gassing them up.
Oh yeah, like gassing them or some shit. Yeah, that's what it's called. I don't know. I'm fucking old, dude. I don't know shit.
Lord have mercy. We're not that old.
No, but you always tell me I'm a fucking old dude in a young person's body.
This is true.
Which is what I'm saying. I don't care about shit young people usually
Fucking
care about.
boomer.
Yeah, I'm
Jesus.
basically a fucking boomer, dude. Yeah, I was saying that the other day. Somebody was like, fucking boomer, and they were like, I'm fucking 30, I'm not even a boomer. And they're like, we don't use the term boomer as a fucking, like, to resort to your age when we're insulting you. Like, we use it as a term for the mindset you exist in.
My dad got called a boomer on the internet.
Did he?
Yeah.
Damn, that's rough, dude.
My dad got okay boomer.
He took a hard L. Sorry to hear that. This is why you don't fight with people on the internet. Honestly. I got 183 nuts. Acorns. Whatever.
This is a better way you could have said that one.
Nope. I did it. Oh yeah, that's right. I did beat level 1. I couldn't get past level 2 and I gave up because I said fuck it. I'm going with my Dark Souls strategy of never fighting my opponents. Just run past them all. Daryl watching me play fucking this game, he's like, oh no, he made a Dark Souls reference. Alright, Billy, 0 out of 10. Too much like Dark Souls, 0 out of 10. I swear I keep hearing Messenger go off, but I think it's just the music in the game. Come on. I play video games, that's right, look at this. We're nailing it this time, I haven't even died yet. I just jinxed myself too, I bet. Alright. Fuck you, possum bitch. Oh yeah, this part is actually kind of fucking hard. Fuck. I slid off. I didn't even fall off. Ah. Fuck. Ah, well, we're not doing as well now, but that's okay. Fuck Dark Souls, Daryl says. He says, fuck that shit. I only play good games. I know that like triggers the fuck out of people. Shit. These spikes kill me in one hit, don't they? Nah, I think they just damage. Alright, cool. Also, fuck you, Billy, for putting the health item right under a spike. Dick move, bro. Come on. Come on. There you go, we did it. We took some damage, but... I don't really have any issues with the core gameplay. I like it a lot, honestly. I like platformers like this, though. I like the old school feel to a platformer. It's just like little quality of life stuff. I would ask of... Oh, you fucking bitch. Alright. It's like maybe a little like a sound effect or something when you get hit or something like that. That'd be good. Or maybe like I don't know. Animation is a bit harder, so I don't want to like try to be like, yo, fuck you, Billy. I had a bunch of shit you game, bro. It's like little stuff, really. Ah, fuck it. Who cares? Fuck you, Spikes. I don't give a shit about no spikes. Fuck spikes. All my homies hate spikes. Alright. Come on, you bitch. See, the problem I have with this, like this ramp coming up, is that I can't fucking see what's happening. Like, prior to me getting there. Oh, Billy messaged me back. Pause? Thanks. Alright, there we go. I should have specified. I was like, yeah, I'm just chilling and playing with Daryl. I was like, wait, he's gonna think I'm just like fucking around while I'm waiting for him. Like, no, wait, hold on. I'm streaming. And we're talking about Epic Squirrel. Anyways, I wish I could have maybe collaborated with Billy a little bit better on this, but we kind of came up with it short term. Where I could have maybe gotten more of those guys in here. See, now I'm gonna die. Fuck you. See, I don't know, like, really. What? I guess I could time my jumps better. I think maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. I think that's his intent. Oh shit, I just pressed the wrong thing. Yeah, let me add Billy to the chat here. Whatever he prefers. Let's see. Oh, there he is. I prefer Discord because I don't know how to use game bar. What's going on, my dude?
Hey.
I'm sorry, I gotta like... I keep forgetting that while I have the game open, the mix is gonna be really weird for everybody because I gotta like keep the music of the game volume down, but I gotta find a way to turn you up.
Would it be easier if I joined the Xbox party or an Xbox party chat?
Would that be able to lower game volume?
Because if you're on PC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you use
Oh.
the game bar, you should be able to directly change the volume of specific applications. Like Epic Squirrel should pop up on the audio mix.
I just found it. We're good. We don't even have to go there if you don't want to. If you want to change, we can change, but whatever you want to do is fine. I found it.
Nice. Yeah. When I noticed that I could change like per app audio, I was like, sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking sweet. Because the whole time I've just been like, don't get me wrong, the soundtrack I really like in the game, but it also blows out my fucking ears sometimes. And I'm just like, oh my god, it's so loud. Because I'll like be listening to a YouTube video at like 30 volume with headphones. Because I'm a fucking pleb and I don't have speakers. And my monitors don't even have speakers. So like when I play this game, I forget to turn down the volume. And it's just like fucking old school retro music blasting right into my brain.
Yeah.
So
Classic retro.
So we've been chilling, we're talking. Obviously, I wanted to talk to you about the game. I was just saying, I wish maybe I could have collaborated with you a little bit better, maybe giving you more heads up so that maybe you and whoever else wanted to join could come and actually talk about the game if they wanted to. But maybe another time in the future we could do that too.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Oh, that's right. I wanted to ask you real quick before we get into like the important stuff. Does the PC version have controller support?
Here's the thing. Yes, it does.
Okay.
But it's not officially supported. It's kind of like
There's like a workaround.
In-engine automatic kind of key mappings.
Okay.
Controller. So it's not like we made. I mean, Unity's really good like that in that it kind of
Yeah.
gives you a lot of kind of cross-compatible stuff. So it kind of adds cross-compatibility between Xbox and PC just as a standard thing. Like if you're having a fire button on PC, which is left mouse button usually, that's going to also map to left control. It's going to also map to like A on the controller. Like so you have to kind of go in and change specific keys if you want to have controller support, like a bespoke controller support.
Right.
It's one of those things that the PC controls were thoughtfully done, and the controller support is there, but it's not really. Officially supported.
Okay, let me do this.
It's not like officially supported.
Let me do this. Let me turn Billy up. Let me know if that's better, Daryl. I turned up the audio volume, so that should help Billy. Let me grab my Xbox controller real quick then. Can I plug an Xbox controller into PC via like micro USB and it'll work or not?
Oh yeah.
All right. Cool.
Just straight.
Half a second.
Yeah.
Real quick, and you can tell the people. I guess you could start out however you would like talking about the game, whatever you would like to let everybody know.
For sure. So, Epic Squirrel is a very kind of fun, light-hearted, colorful adventure. Cecily is the main character. That's who you're seeing on the screen right now. And his adventure basically takes him across 15 levels on the search or the hunt for his evil brother, Duke, his name is. So, without spoiling too much of the story, if anyone wants to kind of uncover it bit by bit, it's that's the driving force of the narrative. So it's interspersed with kind of story elements. So every few levels, you see like a story beat on the screen, and you can read through it, and you can kind of digest a bit of the narrative, and then it kind of moves through different sections as you kind of progress. And it's all this kind of search for Duke, who seems to be trying to take all the acorns of the forest, and you're trying to kind of chase after him and pick him up as you go along, while trying to protect yourself from all the dangers that the forest brings. So it's kind of like a once beautiful, pristine, safe place seems to be kind of getting this very dark energy, a dark force encroaching. and Cecily's kind of uncovering that as he goes along. So it's a pretty interesting little narrative, kind of something fun, light-hearted, something to just chew over as you play through the game. The gameplay is taking a lot of cues from the games of yesteryear, whether that's Mario, any of the platformers that you've probably played to death on old school Nintendo systems. It's kind of harping back to those kind of games in terms of style. The level design was that's what took the longest for sure. Like the level design was just kind of revisions to the level design, making sure there was enough space between objects, sometimes even widening the spaces between objects because it seemed a bit too cheesy. Making sure the dangers were, not too much, but also kind of balancing it in a way that made it feel fun and like, oh gosh, I need to do that differently. Let me try that differently so I don't die next time, kind of thing. So yeah, there's definitely a bit of a difficulty spike in the game, like when you first jump in and you start to get a feel for the systems. But once you start realizing like the patterns of things and the enemy controls, you don't have to fight every single enemy. That's the great thing that we consciously wanted it to be like a choice where you could take them out if you want to kind of clear it up. Because here's the thing, you have 3 lives, and after those 3 lives, I mean, at the end, when you lose a life, you respawn at the start of the level. And that was a conscious decision, because depending on how you played the level up until the point that you die, getting back to that point is either going to be very easy or it's going to be very challenging. So you can, of course, like try and speed run the whole level and not fight any enemies and just straight go through it. That's great. But then if you die, in the off chance that you die during that speed run, you'll be at the start of the level and having to face all the enemies again. So it's kind of like a risk reward thing where, just try and breeze through it, but then you can also take out all the enemies in the chance that you die. And obviously you have to be careful with the platforms falling.
Right. Yep. I didn't know if you were watching the stream or not. I didn't want to.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay. I would have warned you otherwise.
Yeah. So they've been watching me steady struggle. I had one question about the acorns. What am I missing with the acorn? Like, I know it's delayed on your end, so what you're gonna see is like a half-second delay. But like, I'm tapping, right? And it's just like exploding in my face. What am I doing wrong? Because I feel like I'm doing something wrong, honestly. I was like, am I supposed to... I got the controller to work, which for some reason it maps shoot to A and jump to Y.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm kind of going in and bespokely changing each of those controls on like a per instance basis. So like press this key on the controller to do this kind of thing. So as for the keyboard and mouse controls, they just kind of immediately, it was very easy to set those up and kind of set those to the keys that we wanted them to be. But controller obviously has to be a bit more bespoke. Like, what's the right trigger doing? What's this button doing? What's that button doing? The controls kind of like for like just kind of roll over to the left analog stick without any kind of issues or anything like that.
Right.
In fact, the controller opens up the whole kind of slow walking animation.
Yeah.
Like a slow movement animation, which the keyboard and mouse doesn't really do. Like keyboard and mouse is very like
it's just straight.
It kind of does it. Yeah. Each animation frame plays automatically. But with the controller, it's like you can kind of nudge a little bit to the right, nudge a little bit to the left. It kind of sets you up for certain things a bit easier. So it's one of those things. Like we kind of wanted to. We wanted to experiment a little bit with control support, but without kind of committing to it because we weren't too sure how that was going to end up. Right. But it seems, I mean, like the feedback is that people are eager. Like I got feedback from a few other people as well saying that controller support is definitely something they'd want to see, even in like the mobile version of the game, like the Android version of the game. And I'm just like, wow, that's the kind of feedback we want, like to know exactly what we should add and what we should take away even from the game, kind of thing. In terms of the acorn blowing up in the face, I think that's that could be a bug. To be quite honest, I mean,
I wasn't
could be
sure.
A bug
I
in the
thought
game.
maybe like in this instance, for example, I know it'll be delayed on your end, but like in this instance, like I jump and I shoot there and it hits, so it looks like it's maybe exploding on like the sign. So I thought maybe like it was like the game was registering that there's like, okay, there's like there's something in your path. And I was like, okay, that kind of actually is. I didn't know if that was intentional or not, because like that might make, for example, a good like, okay, like, there's enemies in between like these. There's like 2 enemies and there's things in between them, so you have to jump in between those things and make sure you hit. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know if that was intentional or not, but I wanted to make sure that like.
So yeah, so each of those signs that you're seeing there, and most of the objects that you're seeing in the game actually, they have like box colliders around them. They've got
Gotcha.
collision detection from a technical point of view. They've got the kind of collision detection between
Gotcha.
them. Now, in some instances, it's a case of if you come into contact with it, it's going to destroy that particular game object, whether it's an acorn or something.
Gotcha.
In other cases, it'll just be a case of it'll pass through it. For instance, so you see the trees in the background,
Right.
it's just passing through it. But as in terms of the signs, some of these signs, again, it's like some signs have those box colliders activated and set as triggers, so that when it hits them, it will detonate. I call it detonation of the acorn. But then other times it's like a case of the acorn will literally travel until it reaches, say, for instance, one of these walls that you're seeing right here. Like it comes into contact with the object that has the collider on it,
Right.
and it'll destroy, because that collider object is got a trigger.
Right.
And that trigger is what sets off the explosion animation that you see on the acorn.
Okay.
So sometimes it could even be hitting Cecily, because of the way the colliders are set up.
His
It's quite
like, box is
get it.
set up. Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
it's quite difficult to get it kind of accurate. That actually required a bit of work in terms of originally what was happening with Cecily is that the acorn was where the acorn was launching from in terms of the start point of that animation.
Sure.
That was set within the box collider for Cecily, so it was literally every time you press fire, it was exploding the moment you pressed fire. And I was like, oh god, that's not great. So we had to kind of go in. Yeah, we had to kind of go in and be like, let's move the firing point a little bit further out.
Right.
And it won't look all that weird. Like, it'll look pretty natural as kind of you running around. You won't really notice it. So kind of moved it a little bit further out, and that way it's still a bit inconsistent, but it's much better than what it was before in terms of like actually being able to fire the acorns in a more kind of expected way, rather than having it just trigger as soon as you fire, like have it explode in your face. It's like you literally have to be like within like spitting's distance of like an enemy to kill them. Then now it's a bit more like you could be further away, and you're still able to shoot the acorn at the enemy and take them out from a decent distance, not too kind of close. So you have a bit less of a risk attached to that. To answer our viewer in the chat, the switch port, that's definitely something. This is literally me and my co-founder, or he's actually the founder and the co-founder of the Tiger Studios. We discussed this the other day regarding the switch port, because there's a few, from a business point of view, there's a few technicalities that Nintendo has in the way of that. It's not as easy as one would imagine. Funnily enough, from a developer's point of view, it's actually easier to get games on Xbox than it is on any other console.
Who was I talking about this? I think it was Adam I was talking. Oh yeah, I was talking with Adam about this because we were talking about Final Fantasy VII. And correct me if I'm wrong. Oh shit, I did. But from what I recall, Xbox One is built to run basically a version of whatever it was. Their like proprietary software that just jumped straight to the Microsoft store, right? So basically, the PC version and the Xbox version were pretty similar, right? If not the same.
Yeah, of course. So that whole universal Windows platform situation.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
Yeah, and to a degree, it's still there. Like, it hasn't gotten the support that maybe it deserved. I mean, I think a lot more developers, a lot more app developers as well, not just game developers, definitely should have embraced it a lot more. I think with the like Game Pass for PC and like the whole Xbox interface that they got going on PC, we're definitely seeing a resurgence, at least on the game side, of kind of like universal applications like that. I mean, there's a few games where it's like this game, like PC, like in brackets, on the Xbox app for PC. So that's kind of, it's a specific PC version of that game. But there's some games where it's literally, I mean, obviously the first party stuff. But yeah, like just from a developer point of view, like Xbox is definitely the easiest console to put the game on.
That's what I thought.
Whether that's through like Idea Xbox or just standard as a Microsoft developer, having a Microsoft developer license.
Right.
I'd say in terms of ease, it's probably getting your game up Google first, probably, and then after that comes Microsoft platforms, and then after that probably. I mean, tell a lie, on PC there's so many platforms that you can put games on. Like once you make IO, you have Game Jolt, you have so many others that we were considering, but we kind of went for like the top tier kind of ones that were available at the time.
Right. Steam's gotten a little bit more complex as time's gone on.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah. Steam,
And
they used to
Epic's
be
is
really.
a totally different nightmare.
Yeah, the thing with Steam is that there was this whole thing of like we wanted to put our game on Steam, but there were so many hoops to jump through, and there wasn't any guarantee that we would get our kind of Steam developer certification or whatever the case was, which would have been a bit of a hassle. Like I'm just thinking about it now. Like imagine if we kind of went through that whole process, like paid the
Right.
money to get the license, and then we still don't end up being able to put our game on the platform. Would have just been
I would
felt
be
like a bit
so
of a waste.
mad.
So we could, you know what I'm saying? So we
Especially
kind of like
if it
let's
was,
play.
asset flips. Like Steam still lets asset flips on the store. Like they literally just buy a game pre-made and resell it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
literally. I mean,
it's fucked up.
yeah, I was just like, we had so many like at length discussions myself
I'm
and
sure. It's a big
and my
discussion.
partner about this.
Big
Yeah,
decision
just
to make.
thinking, you know, what platforms are we going to put it on? What should we kind of maybe keep for a later date, or even just discard altogether? Like the original idea was, let's try and see if we can put this on as many platforms as possible. And then as we got closer to release, we started actually seeing the processes that entailed. We were just
Right.
like, you know, okay, let's rule Steam out. Let's rule out consoles for now, simply
Yeah.
because
And
there's a
PS4
bit,
is
there's a few extra
crowded as
steps.
fuck. So I don't really
Yeah.
blame you for that. I'm sure you could sell
Yeah.
like some copies, honestly, because like there are people who just literally browse the store and just like buy random stuff. There's like, yeah,
Especially
this
like
looks
little
interesting.
time burners as well, like just fun little
Right.
games, just jump in. So Switch is probably the best
Yeah.
option, and that's what we were kind of discussing in terms of console, which one first, kind of thing. We thought maybe Xbox, but then kind of very quickly as we kind of assessed the terrain, it was like Switch seemed like the better option, just purely based on
Oh,
the
shit.
kind of audience there is there, and the kind of games we see on
Oh,
the
fuck.
store normally.
Sorry, I was dying. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you get. Oh, oh goodness. Yeah,
Yeah.
the bit of a delay here as well. Yeah, I wish the delay was easy to kind of get around
I
because
think I can screen share with you, actually. Let me do that. That way you can get a peek as you can have a more accurate what's
yeah.
screen share. Yeah, okay, 720. My computer should handle this. Hopefully it doesn't die. If the stream randomly
Yeah.
ends, it's because my computer crashed. Just
Too much multitasking.
FYI. If your stream is still running, we've just paused this to preview. What? Sorry. Apparently Discord can't do both. Or am I tripping? Is it paused on your screen?
Let me see on the Twitch channel. No, you're still playing on the
On Twitch.
on
it's
the
just
Twitch, yeah.
paused on Okay. Yeah, I can't do both. I'm sorry.
Tell you what, no worries. It's all good. All good. But yeah, so Switch is definitely in the pipeline. It's just we have to kind of source a development kit and go through the whole like situating ourselves as kind of Nintendo Switch developers and getting all those agreements and NDAs and stuff like that done.
Yeah.
But we're hoping for at least at the earliest by like December this year. If
That'd
we
be
can
cool.
get it, if we are able to get it on Switch, then we're hoping by that time. But if not, then it'll be a case of at the earliest possible convenience that it is, like in terms of getting everything set up and situated. Because obviously, and this is a Ambassadors of Gaming exclusive, we are currently in early development of our second game.
Very nice.
Uh,
That's good to hear.
there will be a little sizzle trailer coming soon for that.
That's sweet, dude.
But yeah, what we can say about the second game is that it will be a pure mobile experience.
Okay.
As we learned, what we did with Epic Squirrel is we learned so much about developing for Android. So I know it's funny because we're playing it on PC right now,
Right.
but we learned so much about developing for Android that we didn't know before.
Right.
From pure technical standpoint, that we want to kind of explore that a little bit. with our next game and kind of make a bespoke mobile experience, kind of get mobile assets and get all of those technical stuff out of the way in terms of how do we make a mobile experience that's particularly mobile, because that was again another challenge just from a
from the dev standpoint.
yeah, from a dev standpoint. It was like we made the game for PC. The PC version is like the kind of the base version of the game. That's the squat, everything like the creme de la creme visuals, all the assets are there, everything is kind of what you would expect, the PC version. And then the Android version, we literally tried to port the PC version to Android. And funnily enough, the only limitation was the app size. Everything else was fine. But then we had to strip a few things back. Like we were limited to like 150 megabytes, I think was the app bundle size limit that we had, and we were limited to that. So we had to literally strip away as much as possible. To kind of still kind of keeping the soul of the game intact, but kind of strip away as much as we could to take the size down. And somehow we managed it. It was it was pretty. Oh gosh, that was a good jump.
Had a good jump and then
delay.
fell. Yeah. It's all right. It happens. But anyways, yeah.
Good, man.
So that's pretty interesting. So one of the things I started out with the stream is that I was like, I think it's fair to criticize and maybe even critique like I don't know, like Assassin's Creed or something. Like if you find like a silly bug in Assassin's Creed or something, like I think it's kind of okay to like give them a little shit over it. But like, you know, don't be like, you guys fucking suck, you're terrible. How do you even have a job? Like, don't do shit like that. But like, you know, when I'm playing something like this, and I mean, some of it obviously has to do with, you know, my bias towards knowing you personally, and just I talked about it with people ahead of time. Like, regardless, even if everything about this was a dumpster fire, which it's not, there's a lot of good in this game, I think, honestly. Like the animations on Cecily are great. The environment art is really cool. I like the animations with the acorns and stuff. I think I would, you know, you and I could have an honest conversation about that. You know, it'd come from a place of just love, really.
Oh,
I'm not trying to fucking belittle you. I appreciate the fact that you guys even fucking, you know, you guys went out of your way to make something, and that's way harder than most people even think it really is. And like, I just wanted to like give you guys props for doing that, because like it's not, people think it's like, okay, cool, like I'm just like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna make a game, Google.jpg, all right, sig, I made the game. Like,
yep.
It's like it's not that easy, not even close. Like if you follow some devs, you'll see like I think he goes by Matt, or they go by Matty, the lead on Celeste.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they always post crazy C++ stuff, like just straight programming nerd code. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, Jesus, man, like, this is way above most of our pay grades. I can't believe y'all sit behind your keyboard and act like you know what the fuck you're doing. Like, you know what I mean? Shit talking devs. Like, it's just so silly to me. Like, I understand it's hard.
Yeah, the thing about it, I mean, even Epic Squirrel, like, all of these things that we're seeing kind of happening on the screen right now, like, these are kind of pages of code.
Yeah.
Like, these are like, literally, if we could print out the code that goes into all these systems and making sure that they work the way, you know, kind of they were intended, and without any kind of serious issues, man. And then it's not just that, it's also kind of the presentation of the code is something, and a lot of developers, like if you have conversations with a lot of developers and programmers, they'll tell you the same thing. The presentation of the code is just as important as anything else, like making sure it looks clean, easy to understand, well commented,
right?
Kind of you know what each chunk of code is doing. For instance, anything that's pertaining to the movement of Cecily, or to the firing of the acorn, or to do with the platforms falling down, that has its own kind of section in the code which is clearly segmented. Now, as a developer, you could choose to do that, or you could choose not to, but it really makes the experience so much easier when you kind of take that into account as a developer. So yeah, like, I'm sure the Celeste devs, like they have like beautiful looking code, like really, like, for them, obviously, here's the thing, like, to someone who doesn't program, even beautiful looking code is going to look like complete gibberish
Yeah.
because it's code. Like you're seeing for this, like if this, that, and the other. You're seeing if statements. You're seeing for loops. You're seeing, you know, functions, and you're seeing declarations and variables and this, that, and the other. It looks like a whole bunch of like a different language altogether. But and which, to be fair, it kind of is.
Right.
But when a developer who kind of has experience with C#, C++, these languages, when they see clean code, my goodness, it's like orgasmic
Breath of
almost. Like,
I'm sure it's
yeah,
like,
it's like a bit.
when I speak shitty fucking half-ass Spanglish to somebody who like speaks real Spanish, you know? Like where I'm like, I hablo español sometimes. And they're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck, you gringo? Fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like that. It's like you could look at like a page of code and kind of get an idea. I mean, I think any non-programmer could look at a page of code for a specific game, like see how the level plays out, and then if I gave you code for this level, for example, you'd kind of sort of get an idea of what's happening. Just like how if like your wife was talking to someone in Spanish, like you won't understand everything, but you may get a gist of the conversation. So it's kind of like that. It's an interesting experiment for sure. But I just saw in the stream chat, so it is possible to fully port to consoles. It's actually quite easy to, from a technical point of view, to have this game running on both next generation and current generation systems. The great thing is that because the architectures of these systems have become so close to PC, from 2013 actually, from the launch of PS4 and Xbox One, the difficulty would have been if we were kind of still in the 360 and PS3 gen, especially
especially PS3.
That's where it would have been really difficult, even though like Unity does have their kind of software development kit kind of within the engine, but it still would have been a pain in the ass to port it, like from a technical point of view, make sure the performance was okay. And I know it sounds funny looking at a game like this, but performance does come into play, especially when you think like obviously our PCs are powerful enough, capable enough, so the game runs buttery smooth, frames, no worries. When it comes to like Android though, if your phone's not like I wouldn't say the latest, but if you haven't got enough horsepower in your mobile, you'll notice, you know, load times are taking longer, or like animations maybe not as smooth, or it just takes, you know, just everything just seems a little laggier. So it's that whole thing there. It's like the thing I like the new consoles, like they're very much kind of, from a technical developer point of view, they're very much like custom PCs that have like a specific that have a specific build, basically.
Right.
Just like if you were to develop for like you know, I'm just trying to think of an example. If you were to develop for like, let's say, like, you know, you have like NVIDIA GPUs and AMD GPUs, or something like that, or CPUs or stuff like that. Like each CPU and GPU has this strength, and as a studio making a game, even like Ubisoft, you'll see on PC games, they have like the AMD logo at the start because they kind of partner with AMD for some technologies. It doesn't mean the game's going to run terribly on NVIDIA hardware. It just means that they've partnered with AMD specifically for things like, you know, hair effects or specific physics stuff in the game and whatnot. For instance, NVIDIA has this feature called it's like a super sampling, DLSS 2.0 or something like that, and it kind of uses a previous frame's kind of image to reconstruct and create a high resolution image in the current frame. So it's like you can get 4K image quality from like 1440p or something like that.
Oh, that's
and that's all, and that's literally done by the hardware. But obviously the game has to support that technology.
Well, of course.
For instance, Death Stranding does that, but if you're playing on AMD hardware, you won't have that same functionality kind of thing. So that's the only difference between like next gen consoles, depending on like on a per technology basis, like what is actually going to be different. Yeah, but for the large part, for a game like this, it's very easy, like technically, to say how you're seeing the game being run right now is how it's going to run on PS4, how it's going to run on Xbox One, how it's going to run on PS5, on, you know, Xbox Series X. It'll run exactly the same way. In fact, even on the Switch, it'll run the same way, because there's so much headroom, even on the Switch, to run a game like this. I mean, megabytes in size. I mean, you've seen we have games megabytes in size right now on on Xbox. Like
Right.
even some of the indie games on Xbox are like a few hundred megabytes in size. So it's not abnormal to have a game that small on console, but it's just
And people
performance-wise, it
appreciate
would be
it.
an
The hard drives
Yeah,
are being
for
eaten
sure.
up every fucking day.
For sure. And the crazy thing is, like, we still could have optimized the file size even more. We just literally went all out on the art. That's what we
Right.
kind of did. The PC version, because there was so much headroom and there was so much space to kind of explore the graphics and the level design and
Mhm.
make everything look as high fidelity as we could.
Right.
We just kind of went all out on there, and that's kind of, in hindsight, that's what we learned looking at the mobile build. It was like, oh, we haven't got as much headroom as we did when we were developing this PC.
Right.
So we kind of, it wasn't really like, obviously, it was way too late into the process for us to actually change the texture resolutions or anything like that of specific assets. It was just more a case of, let's take out that square kind of structure that you see over there. Let's take out this particular, asset, that kind of level dressing kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
It's taking up space. It's, we can take a few of these things out. Unfortunately, like, a bit of a background on it is that the Android version actually had to have a couple of levels cut from it simply to bring the file size down, simply because the assets that were remaining in the levels were so high quality that they were taking up a lot of space. So
Right.
what we had to do is, we kind of, from a creative point of view, we had to go into the game, decide which assets, or decide which levels were kind of a bit filler, or the most filler of the levels, kind of the ones that were like stretching, or when we kind of played through it, like the ones that felt a bit too kind of much, maybe, like, especially considering mobile as a platform. Like, you
Right.
won't just be like spending 3 hours trying to beat a game on there. Like, you want to jump in, you want to play like 1 or 2 levels, 3 levels, and then
Right.
kind of, you want to feel like it's easy to beat a game. Like, if you're playing a narrative game, like, you don't want to like, a console class experience is for console, like PC class experience is for PC.
Yeah.
You want mobile for a different kind of approach to that experience. So we had to kind of go in and think, how can we keep the soul of Epic Squirrel alive while still having it kind of, fit for mobile kind of thing. So definitely lessons had to be learned, some difficult lessons as well, to try and get it. The worst thing was that, everything's ready, like, we're ready to go on Play Store, and everything's set up, situated, it's perfect. And then the moment we go to, like, try and publish it and get the store stuff ready, it's like, your app bundle's too big.
I feel like I should tell
Like,
you that before you go to publish, but well, sure. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like I should
like-
just like not let you upload and be like, no, this file size is too big.
Right.
Like, that's what Google does
granted-
everywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's like, I like the system that they have where they let you kind of save all of the kind of settings for your kind of pre-published settings. It's kind of like saving it as a draft, like your store page, the things that you're going to have set up on there, like getting that all situated. Like, it's very nice in how they do that, but it's just one of those things, like, you wish there was a way to kind of know whether it was going to be like too big or too small, or whatever the case was.
Right.
But yeah, for sure, now that we know, like, as a team, now that we know that the size limit is this for the bundle, not really the game as much as that kind of app bundle, because once the kind of app bundle is on the store, like, you could install it and have it be a different size altogether. For instance, our app bundle is 128 megabytes, but then if you install it on your phone, it could differ from that. It all depends on how kind of Google Play Store optimizes the per download for the device that you're using. Like, it's very, all these companies, I think even Xbox do something like that, where they kind of optimize file sizes and stuff, or like, like this like fast start or something like that, technology that they were talking about a couple of years ago. So that whole idea, like, it's along those lines a little bit, I guess, on Android. So yeah, let's see. So, let's see what
Daryl was saying
guys are
something
saying
in
in
the
the
chat.
chat. So, yes. So the sequel, there is definitely a sequel currently in concept right now. So our second game is not going to be a sequel. I can say that much. But a sequel to Epic Squirrel is definitely in the works. Whoops.
Whoops. It's okay. If I exit out to the main menu, will I have to replay from the beginning? I can't remember if you talked to me about this or not. It's fine.
Yeah, that might be a problem.
Yeah, it's okay. I landed in between some blocks. So
yeah,
it's
that's
not really like it's not a big deal. I'm gonna try it on keyboard.
Yeah, the thing about controller is that it can be very finicky with like precision control.
Sure.
So that's the other thing as well. It's like, well, even when I played it, when I was testing and I was playing on PC with the controllers, with my controller plugged in, like it felt like insane playing the game on the controller. But like sometimes some of those jumps were very difficult to make. And it's the same thing with like any game. Like if I play it on PC, like it's very easy to get the controls, like to jump and land in a specific place. With the controller, I don't know, something about the analog sticks. It's not quite as precise. I don't know. It's weird.
It's not as precise as a mouse. No.
As a mouse, or even as WASD. Like there's something about like traditional keyboard controls that just feel, you know, as much as I love in some games to kind of have like the whole walking animation or like slow movement animation and stuff like that, but there's something I love like about the WASD traditional PC controls, especially on PC games,
right?
Or games that you would kind of normally only play on PC. Like it depends. Some games are built with consoles in mind, and by all means, kind of those games fit really well on the controller. But sometimes, like a PC game, like you want to play it with that traditional WASD left mouse button, just kind of, you know, huddled over and kind of focusing on what's going on the screen. There's something about that experience on PC. But yeah, to continue on with what I was saying, the whole situation with the sequel is definitely in the works. In fact, what I will say is, again, without spoiling anything, the ending of Epic Squirrel 1, I say Epic Squirrel 1, Epic Squirrel Cecily's Adventure Begins, the ending, there is a small little tease.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, so we have gone to the effort with the design of, I say design, like kind of the narrative design more than anything,
right?
To kind of have as much of a fleshed out, as much as like fleshing out the characters in the game as much as possible, and trying to give them a little bit of a background and where they're coming from and where they're going, kind of thing, and have that in our mind as a studio, kind of as a team,
right?
So that when we're fleshing this out in the future, it's like we knew what we wanted Cecily to do at this point in the story, or like we have that in our minds kind of going forward. So while there's no kind of hard-coded C#, C++, or any kind of levels that are drawn up yet, we have that in our mind. Yeah, we have a kind of a concept in our mind in terms of where we want it to go and whatnot. And yeah, so it doesn't mean we're going to be kind of limited to you know, this particular art style. To kind of further answer your question, Mighty Guyver, the whole thing is that like a 2D platformer was definitely the easier option for like the first game. Like it was easier to from a technical point of view to kind of do a 2D platformer as opposed to like a 3D kind of hub space world. But that's definitely something. I mean, if we think in the vein of Super Lucky's Tale and games to that effect, like that style is kind of what we're thinking. Like, you know, a fun, cute, colorful story. Like, yes, the narrative can be a little bit you know, dark at times, and even as we're thinking about, you know, 2 and 3, we're definitely not kind of staying in the kind of cutesy fun kind of thing. Like the narrative design of Epic Squirrel, as a franchise is getting progressively darker as we go along. Like we're kind of mapping out the story and the journey of Cecily.
That's cool.
So there's definitely room for a lot more things to be added in, whether that's couch co-op, whether it's additional kind of modes in the game. We toyed with that a little bit with Epic Squirrel in terms of the Nutcatcher and Eagle's Flight,
Right.
which was us kind of experimenting a little bit with having like mini games in the game, like have a base game with like the story and stuff, and then having mini games that are replayable but fun, kind of time killers, formats that you're familiar with, whether that's you know, the Catch It games of yesteryear, like games that you normally would play like on the mobile platform,
Sure.
or you know, like a very Flappy Bird-esque kind of avoid the spikes type game, where every time, you know, the spikes go off screen, you're getting a point, and then when if you get hit by enough spikes, then obviously it's game over. So you have to try and be as careful as possible. But yeah, like replayable mini games, like we toyed with that idea even in this game. So that's something we're definitely going to flesh out going forward, and especially kind of having a degree of like multiplayer element in there. That's definitely something we want to explore for the sequel as well. Whether that's like within the story in terms of having a 2-player experience in the story, or however that may manifest,
Right.
or having like a mini game or an extra mode which is specifically a multiplayer designed kind of experience based in the world that we create for the sequel.
Gotcha.
So it's something. There's so many directions it can go in, but we're definitely hoping to go like to transition from 2D to 3D. You know, this obviously we're bound by different things like the technology that we have available, the size of our team, typical things that you kind of see small studios grappling with when they're making their games. Like we want to have enough kind of juice in the tank to kind of take us all the way when we kind of get to making like bigger 3D games and
Sure.
and all that kind of stuff.
I think you can see a lot of jumps. This may be an unpopular opinion, but with Naughty Dog, like moving from Crash to like Jak and Daxter, for example, like those were pretty significantly different games.
Yeah.
But you
and the way they were designed, the level
Yeah.
design, the characters and stuff, very different.
Exactly. I don't, and this is, I guess, to my own detriment, but I never played Jak and Daxter 1. I've only played 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Which 2 is just a straight up GTA ripoff, if I'm honest. Like I like 2, don't get me wrong, but it's very heavily inspired by, you know, GTA. Obviously, you know.
Yeah.
But like, you could tell that like the things they did in Crash really helped them kind of refine the platforming experience in those games, and kind of like, because you never think of, I don't know, how do I describe this? Like with games, unless it's something you don't typically experience that is exceptional, you don't think anything of it. It's like bad music, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, kind of forgettable.
Yeah, exactly. Well, also in the aspect of like, when you hear music that's like, it's just okay, right? It's like on par or whatever. You think nothing of it. You listen to it and you're like, you know, this is okay, and that's the most you think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus like when it's bad, you like start to nitpick to a deeper level. Like, you know what I mean? And so like, I forget what the fuck I was going with that, but I'm saying like, at least here I think you guys have a solid foundation, especially with I think your expectations for this has to be right too, because how did I say this before, but it was something along the lines of like, you know, like it's rare that a game kind of like this in the realm of this. I'll use Sonic Mania as an example because it's the closest thing I can think of off the top of my head, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was a very well done game that people did not expect, mostly because people were working on it in secret and Sega just bought it, basically, right? And so, like, if you hadn't been told that, most people don't even know Sega, like, didn't even make that or, like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it was just some group of people who just really like Sonic. So the foundation here for other stuff going forward is really great. Like, the animations are really, really good. Like, everything about the animations here are really good. The rain feels really smooth, which I like. I think the rain is really well done.
That was funnily enough, we had to actually dial the rain. What you're seeing now is like the perfect balance of like rain effect that didn't tank performance. So it's funny because that's the thing about physics in games, whether it's rain effects or particle systems, etc. Anything that uses any kind of computation,
Right.
that just bounds the game like CPU wise, and CPU bottlenecks are typically no bueno for any game, whether it's a game like
Yeah.
this or Assassin's Creed or Ghost Recon or GTA or anything like that. If your game's CPU bottleneck, then that's a big yikes. But yeah, so this was kind of like the balance, like to get the rain. We wanted it to be even more kind of like rainy. I know it sounds really funny,
No,
but
I know what
we
you
wanted,
mean. Yeah, you
know
wanted
what I'm
it
saying?
to
We
be
want-
heavier.
yeah, we wanted it to be heavy and like have it look like even more. But then it was one of those things like, yeah, we got kind of draw back a little bit, kind of thing, and make it a bit more manageable
Right.
for the CPUs of. It wasn't really, because obviously your PC would have been capable enough to handle it. My PC was capable enough to
Yeah.
handle it, but it's just kind of making sure it's scalable as much as possible for like all the systems that
Sure.
are potentially going to run it, kind of thing. And again, it's a learning moment, I guess. Kind of thinking about, we can't just, yes, you know, the systems that anyone will develop games on are like quite powerful,
Right.
but that doesn't mean you develop for the system that you're creating it on. Like you have to think about every build, every kind of every scenario as much as you can. I mean, we're just humans, and we can only think as far as, you know, our minds allow at the time in terms of all
Sure.
the possibilities. And there's going to be some cases where it's like, oh, but what about this? Like, we didn't think of that. God damn.
You know how you could start with a base point? If
Yeah.
you're worried about optimization, you could ask yourself, will this run on Daryl's PC?
Right.
There we go.
Right.
We got you back.
Right.
We gotta give you a little shit back, my friend.
Right.
We'll start there. Could
That's
Daryl run it?
literally-
No? Alright, we gotta do some optimization.
That's like the complete opposite of can it run Crisis? Like, can it run Crisis?
We-
That's got the connotation of like, is your PC powerful enough?
Daryl's laughing in the
Like,
chat.
can that? It's like if you're saying, can Daryl's PC run it? You're saying, is your game optimized enough?
Dear developers, please make sure that you optimize your game to these specs. Thanks,
Yeah.
Ambassadors of Gaming.
That's like the minimum specs. Just Daryl needs to send me his computer
His
specs.
build. We need to know
His
the
build,
monster
yeah.
build.
Yeah, so if you send me the build, I'll put down like the minimum requirements on all the storefronts, so everyone knows what to expect.
It's Daryl PC certified, dude.
that's the stamp. You know, the Series X has got the Series X optimized.
Then you could
You
do
can
some
have a
great.
stamp on all the games, Daryl's PC optimized.
You could use that as a great. Yeah, you could use it as a great like marketing play. You'd be like, "We're the first and only game to be Daryl PC certified." Can any other game say that? No, they can't.
That's
Except for games from
perfect,
like
dude.
20 years ago.
That'd be like a running gag with all the games.
Yeah.
Whether it's Epic Squirrel games, whether it's any other game that we made, that's gonna just be a running gag.
Daryl
Like-
certified.
Yeah.
And then when
this
Daryl's
game-
computer eventually dies, you could put a nice memorial in one of your games. It'd be like in memory of
Right.
Daryl's PC.
Yeah.
That-
That'll be the
Never
start of the
forgotten.
credits.
Oh man, that's too good.
Uh,
Yeah, I really like. Now I want to ask because I feel like this is intentional, obviously, because some of the stuff here it really does harken for me to like Mario and Sonic, and I don't know if that's intentional, but I assume some of it is. Like, for example, Cecily's animations kind of really remind me of Tails a lot. I assume that was like
Yeah.
intentional.
Oh yeah. We wanted to be as retro as possible with the kind of design of this game. Have it feel as want it to be like a throwback, a kind of love letter to some of the systems that you can, and some of the art styles that you saw in those games in terms of you know,
Right.
whether it's these big square blocks in the level dressing, or you know, some of the kind of creatures that you're fighting and defeating. You know, we just wanted that to be, that was definitely the artistic cue for sure.
Yeah, because I love that tailspin. It's so beautiful. And I love his little
Oh, yeah.
animations. He looks very adorable.
He's a little cutie, isn't he? He's a little cutie.
Yeah, and just overall, like even like the little stripe on his tail is really well colored and stuff like that. You can, oh shit. I did that thing where I like hit jump, but I hit jump after I fell off the ledge. But
Right. You just start spinning to your death.
yeah, pretty much. No, I didn't even spin. I just fell. Like I just straight dived
Yeah.
to my death. But it's all good.
Tailspin, yeah.
But yeah, so like even those block guys remind me a lot of the oh fuck, whatever they're called from Mario. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Everybody knows the block guys. What are blockheads? Is that what they're called? I don't know what their official name is, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're
And
really
even
cool.
it's funny because you mentioned like taking cues and like harping back to like those games. Even if you think about like Crash 1. Oh no, Crash 1. Yeah, that's the one it was. Like, you know, those kind of platforms that disintegrate, like if you stay or kind of fall if you stand for too long, kind of thing. That was again what we were kind of going for. There's a section, I believe it's on level 3, maybe level 3, level 4. I can't remember exactly. It's been a while since I played my own game. Wow. Yeah. But it's like one of the levels, one of the earlier levels, definitely before the kind of second story chunk that you're gonna get, like the second narrative chunk that you get. It's got a whole section, like an entire bridge section, where the platforms kind of fall, and that's literally that idea was literally like us trying to do like a callback to Crash Bandicoot 1. Like that, there's a particular section, I believe it's
I think it's
a few levels in on Crash.
Something. I know.
Yeah.
I played the original or the remaster at least, so I'm a little
familiar. Yeah, so it's kind of like us. We wanted to kind of capture that feeling of like you have to run across. Like the temptation is there to like just keep jumping, but if you jump and then the platform's gone, then you know you're falling to your death. So it's kind of like trying to run across, hold your nerve and try and resist the temptation to jump, kind of thing. So a few things like that, definitely, like kind of throwing back to the classics.
Sure.
The classics out there.
I was I think, is that the waterfall level where you're like right over top of the water? Is that the one
Yes.
you're referring to? Yeah.
Yes,
So I was
one,
steady struggling with that earlier, and I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to do this? Fuck you, Billy. This is bullshit. And then I realized that I'm an idiot, and the last platform doesn't move. I thought you guys made all the platforms disappear, but you didn't. The last platform doesn't disappear. And when I finally figured that out, I was like, oh, okay, never mind. I was like, I can't even see where the fuck I'm going. Fuck you, Billy, this is bullshit. How the fuck am I supposed to know when this platform's gonna be down so I can reach it? And then I was like, oh,
God damn
wait.
it, just flipping the table.
Yeah, I was so mad, dude. I was raging pretty hard.
This part, when I was playtesting this section, it messed me up so much. Like, and there was a point where I was literally gonna say to my co-developer, my partner, I was literally gonna say, dude, do you want to keep this in? Like, what's going on here, kind of thing? Because I'm struggling. Kind of, I was just like, geez. But I think it's one of those things that when you, because a lot of oh goodness, I just saw that moment as well. But when you kind of play through enough of the levels in the game, like the systems start to feel more kind of familiar. Like it doesn't feel as kind of unexpected. You're like, oh, that's that section there, so now you know what to do because you've done it a few times already. Kind of thing. So that was definitely like a design goal. Like as we kind of look to the bigger picture, we very much like, okay, this is difficult, but once you go through this and then like 2-3 levels later you have a similar section, then you kind of be a bit more comfortable with what's going on. So that's definitely what we were. That's definitely what we wanted to kind of go through. But I was at the point where I was like, my guy, like this is too difficult. I feel like we need to sort something. We need to like close up some of these gaps a little bit. But I think the thing about, from a technical point of view, we weren't like obviously a small team. We're not kind of trained artists or trained.
Right. You're two dudes trying to fucking
anything. So we're two guys trying to figure out, how to piece all these kind of blocks together and make it kind of function the way it should, as best as possible. So the thing that we could do, and this is again a very conscious decision, it was like, while we didn't have the kind of the team or the kind of creative pool, I suppose, to kind of say, let's have, the enemies doing all of these kind of things, or you know, have particular bespoke sections. It was more like, how do you make the level an adversary for Cecily, kind
Sure.
of thing. That was again a very conscious design thing there. Like we wanted the level to have an element of challenge to it, where it was like, you know, a part of the journey is you know, beating the level, kind of thing. It's not
Sure.
it's not just about defeating the enemy. I mean, the enemies, I'm sure you can defeat them, but then again, you can also get to the end of the level without defeating the enemy. So that just
Right.
kind of tells you that beating the level is a big part of the accomplishment, and that's again a very purposeful design decision there, just to kind of make it as
Sorry. Go ahead.
that's cool. You're good. You're good.
I keep
Just to
doing
make it
that. I'm the worst at that, dude. I slide off platforms and shit because I like input the jump too late. I misjudged the timing. Anyways, go ahead. You were saying?
That's good. Yeah. So it's like, whether it's these platforms that are kind of going up and down, whether it's like you know, the spikes getting shot out from the walls, spikes getting shot out from the ceiling, platforms falling, the gaps between the platforms, like what I just saw now. So things like that, you get what I'm saying? Like things like that were kind of, again, conscious decisions, because again, we're limited by the size of our team. We wanted to make sure that while, you know, it's easy enough to kind of take out the enemies, if you're obviously not getting too much in their face, you can take out all the enemies, but then
Right.
what about the level? The level's still there, kind of thing. You know, you can take out all the enemies, even if there were no enemies in the level, you still have to get to the end. That still poses a challenge, you know, evidently. And it's not a comment on, like, you know, the person playing it is not good at playing it. It's the level's been designed to be difficult, because that is part of the challenge. It's part of the challenge to kind of get through kind of a level at a time. And the game's short enough for sure. Like, I mean, it's 15 levels, but the levels, again, they're not like huge Metroidvania style levels. So it's easy enough to kind of once you get the, you know, different systems down, it's easy enough to get through to the end, like just straight plow through it and kind of get through to the end. And that was, again, what we wanted. We didn't want it to be like a saga within the first game, kind of thing. We wanted to tell a very specific story, kind of get Cecily's adventure beginning, introduce players to this world and this character.
Sure.
And then obviously from 2 onwards, that's when, like, we're really gonna, I mean, we've been thinking about having a kind of Metroidvania approach to 2, where it's like hub spaces and levels, and a more kind of RPG style system in there as well, which is probably where Daryl's comment about, or question about, multiplayer can come in there, or co-op can come in there, because if players are then able to design their kind of version of Cecily specifically around how they want to play it, then it just opens up the door to have a lot more kind of creativity in terms of like co-op and stuff like that. So that's definitely something we want to think about. But Metroidvania, especially after playing games like, you know, Ori and the Blind Forest, or the Will of the Wisps, I was having discussions after, you know, I got really, like, I pretty much final level on Ori and the Blind Forest, and I remember I was chatting with my co-developer, my partner, and we were talking about it and saying, you know, I showed him like footage of Ori and the Blind Forest because he hadn't played it, and he was like, you know, jaw hit the floor, like, because of A, how beautiful it looked,
right,
but B, like, we were both on the same page in terms of, you know, the whole design idea, and like how Epic Squirrel like needs to be, or what we were kind of trying to go for, like, in our mind, the idea that we were having, like, kind of clicked immediately. And it was like, you know, and if you think about Ori, it's got like the RPG system, it's got like the RPG system, it's got exploration around the level, kind of hub spaces, you go back and open up spaces that you weren't able to access before, do a whole bunch of different things like that. So that's definitely something we're kind of taking in mind, kind of going forward.
That's really cool. I don't want to sound like I'm giving advice, because I'm not. I'm just speaking my opinion. So please, just don't think I'm trying to be like. I don't want to be that guy that's like, you know what you should do, you know?
Yeah.
Those are the fucking worst.
Good, man.
Those are the worst type of people. When it comes to like being somebody on an artistic project, like, you don't want anybody to tell you what to do. Sure, but sometimes like stuff's nice. But anyways, this is just like my thing. Oh, these bunny things are kind of cool. They're weird as fuck, but they're cool. I kind of like it. It reminds me of the Donnie Darko bunnies, but like
Oh yeah.
kid friendly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Daryl, if you want to join in here, that would be fine. You can jump in on the. Oh shit. Yeah. Hold on, because we got about half an hour left. So let's get. Do you mind if I call Daryl in here real quick? That way we can just kind of get everybody in here. Yeah, Daryl, we'll give you a call on Discord here. I'm gonna give him like 5 seconds to kind of catch up through Twitch chat. Now where was I going with this? Oh, one of my favorite level designs are the first 2 Resident Evils. Specifically, I like RE1 more personally, but I really like the way, I don't know if you're familiar with either, and how like the levels are designed. If you've even played them, have you given them a chance, or have you had the chance to play them?
I played Resident Evil 5, I believe. Was it 5 or 6? I can't remember if it was 5 or 6. But I'm kind of familiar with like the way those games are designed, for sure.
Right. So they actually had Capcom's weird like this, especially with Resident Evil. They built them in trilogies. So 4, 5, and 6 follow a similar design philosophy, and 1, 2, and 3 follow a similar design philosophy. But 3 and 4 are totally different. The first 3 games follow reusing the map like a Metroidvania, but in a 3D space. So it's kind of like a nice mix of like Mario 64 with a Metroidvania type feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of like, so they utilized what they had much more, I felt like. That kind of came back in Resident Evil 7. But again, that's just like, I think from like a developer standpoint, I don't think they were necessarily thinking about like, hey, this could be super cool. Oh shit. I'm always doing that shit. Hold on, let Billy hop in here real quick. I was in the middle of talking to him, and then I started this call because I'm an idiot. I was like in the middle of talking, and I was just like, send. You're breaking up, my friend.
Daryl?
I think he's breaking up a little bit. We'll give him a minute.
Yeah, let me get situated on the whole technical side.
So I didn't mean to cut myself off, and I didn't mean to just like jump out of the chat or the call or whatever. But
you're good. I figured something like that was probably gonna happen.
Hey, you're chopping up, Daryl. You might be on data. I don't know. I'll give him a minute, and while he's figuring that out, just to point off my thing about Resident Evil. Yeah, you're still cutting. I think that, I mean, they might have thought about the design philosophy. Yeah, you're kind of real bad. Like you're kind of sounding choppy and also like robotic. So I don't know if it's like your headset or if it's just like data or what up. It might just be Discord. I'm not sure. You're hearing it too, Billy, right? It's not just me.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Daryl hella robotic right now.
Okay. But yeah, I think. Am I hearing myself? Is that what's happening?
I think definitely feedback coming through Daryl's side. Side.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
But there's something going on with the audio quality as well. It's sounding very like,
distorted.
Like World War One.
He sounds like he's on an old radio.
Walkie-talkie, right?
He's
old school wireless system, yeah.
But with the last thing on the Resident Evil thing, and I'll just kind of get over it, is that I don't know if it was intentional, but it was a positive side effect of them being smart with their resources and being like, okay, like we have this very limited fucking space, obviously on a PlayStation 1, like let's figure out how the hell we can utilize that to best suit us, the narrative, and then the gameplay. And that was just something that I've always appreciated, and then I really saw that come to life again with Resident Evil 2, the remake. That design philosophy is there as well. And it's not, again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you just from like what optimization type stuff, what I've seen other people do, just to kind of give you guys
for sure
some ideas.
No, for sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, this is kind of. I mean, I don't mean to say like kind of put myself or myself and my partner on a pedestal here, but it's like good developers will always kind of look at what other studios and other teams kind of do really well, and they'll take those best elements. And the thing is, the greatest games don't always do the most kind of novel, new, like never seen before things. That's the
they just do new stuff or the old stuff better, usually.
yeah. They kind of take those old systems and they tailor it to fit the kind of the environment, the theme of the game they're going for. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because like even if we look at Naughty Dog with Crash and Jack and Uncharted, yes, those games are thematically different from each other, but if you look at the underlying systems and some of the underlying kind of the technical, oh, beg pardon, sorry, I had to burp.
No, yeah, you're
the
good.
technical point of view of like those games, like you can really notice the tissue that binds them together. It's if you look at Uncharted and then you look at The Last of Us, for example, you can see that connective tissue even though they're thematically different.
Right.
If you look at Crash and then you look at Uncharted, yes, obviously very, very different looking games, but even so, you can still see there's parts. I mean, if you think about Uncharted 1, like the sequences where you kind of running like across this wooden planks that are kind of in this big open space, and you're kind of running across it and they're collapsing as you're running across it.
Right.
Like that kind of harkens back to like
Crash,
the Crash levels. You know what I'm saying? So, even like within studios, like they take their design philosophies forward for sure. And they'll always look at what other studios are doing and kind of improve upon that, or sometimes even take those ideas and say, you know what, this idea would work really well in our game, so let's kind of do that. As it reminds me of a discussion that you had or discussion that you started the other day in a group that we're in, a gaming community group that we're in, where you said about like Ghost of Tsushima maybe having like a loadout system for specific builds for specific enemies that you're fighting or specific situations, scenarios. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey does it. Plenty of other open world adventure games do it. Why not Ghost of Tsushima?
It's just
it doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Quality of life thing at that point. It's really just like this would be really convenient for me. I have no idea how hard or if that would even like break the system. You know what I mean? It could theoretically like break the whole fucking game.
Is that any better for you?
Much.
Oh, perfect.
Much better.
So. Yay. So what I was saying was like the whole point that you're making about Ghost of Tsushima, like, is that, I mean, you can't like one shouldn't feel like, oh, why should Sucker Punch copycat like Ubisoft with that system in their game. It's not copycat, like it's a quality of life thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you said,
it's like, oh no, we added a jump button.
right. You know what I'm saying? It's like. It boggles my mind. It's like
in a game.
Yeah, and like by all accounts, that feature, like having that loadout system, is fantastic for open world adventure games. Like where you're having like melee combat systems like that, whether it's Assassin's Creed, whether it's Ghost of Tsushima, like you don't have one type of enemy.
Yeah.
So to be able to swap out a loadout on the fly and say, you have these charms and this, that, and the other, and that's for like elite enemies that have like shields or stuff, or this particular area of the map. You're traveling to that area, so you swap to that loadout. You're going to another area, you swap to another loadout. Like people should think about that suggestion that you made and say, great, fantastic. That we should all kind of ask Sucker Punch do that, but it's like, no, Ubisoft did it with Assassin's Creed, and I don't like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I really don't understand the Assassin's Creed hate, but anyways.
So what's the gist of this combo? So
we're just talking about
headed
Epic Squirrel and just kind of letting it lead from
game
there.
Design stuff, really.
Yeah, mostly. What was
because I just came back to Ghost of Tsushima, so.
Oh yeah, I did too. I just started back up this morning, but I want to ask Billy one last thing, and then you guys can kind of say whatever. We got a few more minutes until the end. I just wanted to ask you specifically about Epic Squirrel. What would you say were the best and worst parts of development total from start to end?
From start to finish.
Best and worst moment. I guess
best. Okay, the best moment was definitely getting the player control working and the collisions between Cecily and the world. Kind of getting Cecily situated in the world. That was the biggest challenge and the best feeling possible to kind of see that working, and the animations, everything was smooth. The jump animation worked. The jump height was good. The animation speed was good. Everything kind of worked as it should, and the contact against the level, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That was definitely like just the kind of chef's kiss moment when that was working, because that's what made us realize we're actually going to be able to make this game.
Right.
When we got Cecily working, that was it. Like that was kind of like the keys to the city. Like everything else kind of wasn't a problem really. Like it was just building everything around that. In terms of the challenging parts, for sure was getting some of the enemy AI working. Animations were actually not too difficult. Enemy AI was probably a challenge, having the correct kind of pathfinders in place. And if you kind of when playing for this game, like if you ever do get to like the final kind of boss fight level, there's a degree of pathfinding in there as well. And I think some of the later levels also have, if I remember correctly, they have some pathfinding with the eagles. So the eagles will not only fly, but they will be chasing you around as well. So you have to be quite nimble and agile as you kind of move around the levels. So that was pretty difficult, kind of making sure the pathfinder worked correctly. And there was a point where it was kind of like, you really want to have that in the game, but yeah. So getting Cecily kind of working in terms of his player animations, health system, anything to do with Cecily, any part of the player character, that was the thing. That was the kind of
Gotcha.
the best moment for sure, the highlight. And then everything else, like the challenging part, was definitely the player AI.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Daryl, you guys can go wherever you want to lead the conversation.
Yeah, why Squirrel, just out of interest? Novel.
Yeah, so that's actually a very good question. I think when we were brainstorming ideas for the name of the game, we knew we wanted to have epic in the title. And again, we were thinking about the world and not just the character, and not just this particular character, but like other characters that we're kind of thinking about within this world. And I don't know, it just seemed like a squirrel was very kind of fun, cute little character. Trying to explore and save the forest, kind of. They're very cute animals anyway. So when we thought about like a cartoonized version of an animal that would be set, that you'd be playing as in a forest, like the squirrel just seemed like the perfect fit for that. There was again lots of other options that we could have gone for. We could have gone for like a rat. We could have gone for pretty much any of the other animals that you're seeing, any of the other insects and bugs and stuff that you're seeing in the game. They could have taken front and center stage, but Epic Squirrel just kind of fell like on that sweet spot in terms of having that nice ring to it.
Yeah, because you can't use a hedgehog really. Sega grabbed that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you wanted to go more Oriental or Asian, you can't have elephant because you've already got Tembo. Was it Tembo the badass elephant?
Tembo the badass.
Yeah. You can't use fox
because Super Lucky's Tail's got that.
Yeah.
And you've also got Tails.
Yep. Well, Fox is probably Star Fox. I would assume something like that.
I'm sure. Has there not been a rat in games?
I don't think rat is the rats have kind of come into.
Not as a protagonist.
At least not.
Think.
They've been used in it's been used as a kids' TV character, but not as a game. I don't think.
No.
Yeah,
the
so that's
thing
untapped territory.
Probably is like Mickey Mouse.
No,
honestly.
There was a TV show called Roland the Rat.
Oh, that makes sense. I feel like there were a bunch of rat shows, but rats get a bad rep in American TV. They're always like the bad guy or whatever. Yeah. Splinter.
Don't worry, Tiger Studios is here to change that. Don't worry.
Ironically, the cat studio will make a good name for the rat.
Right.
What
fun. A world, right?
Yeah.
Building bridges, not walls.
When you were thinking of the genre, did you not think of using a tiger as well? It's like Tiger Studios.
Yeah, I mean, funny thing is, you make a good point. Funny thing is, I don't know, like for the name of the studio, Tiger Studios, there's so many kind of like it's like the ferocity of the animal and like how fiercely you kind of want to take on. Like there's a whole kind of like connotations to choosing Tiger as the name of the studio. But yeah, like I said, it was pretty much up for grabs. Like when we were going through the concepts for like it was epic, whatever. It was like epic blank. Right? Yeah. And then we were kind of thinking about all the possible animals that we could have. and we settled on Squirrel because then we were thinking about the name of the character. We kind of went through an interesting process. We were thinking, like, what animal? And then when we kept on getting stumped about the animal, we then thought, okay, what's the name of the character? Let's think of a name. And we kind of brainstormed a few names, like the main character of other kind of characters in the game. And for the squirrel, for what then became the squirrel, we thought, what if Cecily's the main character? Like, Cecily sounds like a pretty cool name. And then it was like
Right.
Cecily the, like Cecily the squirrel kind of thing. And that's where that kind of came from. It was like Cecily the squirrel had that ring to it. And I was like, there we go, kind of thing. So then it all kind of came from that.
I do love his animation though.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
that's
adorable.
It was a proud moment, kind of, because that was oh gosh, that was a scary moment. They're sliding down the hill.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
The
So it
haters
was
will
definitely
say it's a store-bought asset.
Right. But yeah.
The first thing I thought of when I saw the animation, especially on the Android, which without controller support, I thought it's going to be hard for me to play because I find
For sure.
mobile
Yeah.
games frustrating as
Yeah,
anything.
Right.
That's not
Touchscreen for me is
a no-go.
I
Yeah,
find just yeah.
yeah.
He reminded me of Tails, where he jumps and the tail spins.
Yep.
I love that about it because
I
it's
don't know-
so
I don't know if-
recognizable.
I don't know whether that was a conscious thing, subconscious thing.
Yeah,
Look
he
at
No,
it,
said-
for
what
sure.
else can he do?
Yeah,
What else can he do?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was again, it's all like I was saying kind of earlier on in the stream as well. So it's very much like that kind of whole love letter to so many elements of those kind of previous games, whether it's in the level design, the way the enemies are, kind of like just a general feel that you get as you're kind of playing through the game, exploring through the kind of forest. It's like we want you to feel like this is a very familiar kind of game experience, something fun.
Oh, we
gosh.
did it. Okay.
The slidey parts, yeah, those.
I was like,
yeah, when
I
I
don't want to die. Alright.
How easy would it have been to do like the dynamic background so you've got like weather effects and things changing
Yes.
as you
Yeah, so the weather effects, to kind of have a single weather effect for the whole level, that's really easy. Dynamic would be quite tricky in that. Triggering it at specific areas and whatnot. And again, the load that would put on the CPU in terms of like the particle systems and stuff like that. But it's possible. It's absolutely possible. I mean, getting the rain working was extremely easy. It was scarily easy almost. But it just goes to show like the way these engines and the systems are working now. It's very easy to get like really good looking results with relatively kind of little experience working with some of these systems. Like you can get it up and running quite nicely. But yeah, the rain, I think on one of the previous levels that Mike was just playing through,
I saw
the
that.
rain. Yeah, the rain effects. They were pretty. It was pretty nice, kind of addition and whatnot. Something we wanted to explore, but obviously from a technical point of view, it was quite difficult. Was having the rain impact the drag on the surfaces.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
So, like for example, like if it's raining, then you would have more kind of like less friction. Sorry, so you'd slide more along the ground, which again would make certain parts of those levels more difficult. But again, from a technical point of view, it was quite tricky to implement that. And then we were also thinking, okay, how do we balance it to make sure that the like it doesn't make the level extremely. We don't want to have like a difficulty spike all of a sudden when you enter a level where it's raining, kind of thing.
Right.
But that's definitely something that's kind of in the mind for like future games within this franchise specifically, where we're thinking like, okay, how do we kind of explore those parts even further? Because this is like the groundwork. This is the foundation upon which we can expand this franchise, and we can think about any other franchise that we want to kind of go into. Sorry, whether it's a 2D game, whether it's a 3D game, like a lot of these systems, whether it's the health system, enemy AI, kind of figuring out where to place things in levels and whatnot. A lot of these kind of concepts and stuff are quite flexible with different games and different game genres and stuff. So
You may have to start looking along the lines of as you're developing in the future. I mean, obviously here you've got PC, you've got Android. I'm assuming it's on iOS.
Yeah.
You can put you can put it to Xbox, probably most likely via the ID at Xbox route. PlayStation, no idea. But then again, you get it onto PS4. Will it be playable on PS5? Do you have to then port it back over to change the code for PS5? Because we don't know how that's working. Sony have said literally nothing on the backwards compatibility side, at least with the Xbox One to Series X. It's backwards. If it's playable on Xbox One, it's playable on Series X. We know that, so that's not going to be an issue there.
Right.
Yeah, it would be an actual pain in the arse if one would have to kind of change code to run the game. I don't think, because look, Series X and Xbox One, it's literally you can have the same code running on both systems, no problem. Like,
Right.
and Xbox have gone on the record to say that, like, you literally having the same game running on both systems, and then you can choose to optimize for Series X. Like, the base is Xbox One, and then like you scale your game up to the Series X and take advantage of all of that kind of stuff. So
the base will be Xbox One X. The base will be Xbox One X on the Series X.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like the lowest kind of power side of things, like the lower kind of end of that, for sure. But
it's like Cyberpunk will automatically upgrade to the best possible version on that system.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of going into that whole conversation that Mike and I had the other day regarding like the optics of Xbox and stuff like that and how they're viewed and whatnot. But for sure, like in terms of like the mainstream consoles, Xbox is definitely like probably topping the list in terms of getting any game released.
It's going to be easier for you because you could aim for the Xbox One, and it's playable on the Series X, regardless.
On launch, like literally, if I was to put even Epic Squirrel 1, this game, we were to put this game on Xbox One come holiday this year when the Series X comes out.
Yeah.
But it's in your library ready to go.
But for PS4, because they've said it's the last I heard, and I have no idea how up to date this is because that seems to be varied all the time, was the top 100 games would be what they're aiming for, and it was only 80% of the titles because the boost mode the PS5 has is too powerful for some PS4 titles. So the PS4 can't work on PS5 because of the boost mode.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about Sony, right?
Yeah, it sounds about what I'd expect from them. Hey, look, guys, we made a really powerful console. Actually, it's too powerful. It's the PS3 all over again.
So.
Right.
You get this little squirrel on PS4. How do you get him on PS5? Is it backwards compatible? Do you need to change the code?
It's
for
cool.
A developer.
He just he sends a little check to Mark Cerny, and the game gets on PS5.
There we go.
It's just like Mark Cerny, you know. I heard.
But when you
slide
look at
that
it seriously,
when
you look at it seriously for independent developers, the indies,
it's gonna be a pain in the ass.
They don't know. There's no sense of clarity.
Yep.
There's no, you do this, you'll be able to do this. Phil Spencer said, it's on Xbox, it's on Series X.
Mm-hmm.
Sony go, well, we don't know, wait and see.
We think that PS5 is the best way to play games, and we also think fuck your old library and anything you played before. It's not important anymore. Fuck you. Give us money.
You'll be fine on PS5, Billy. That'll be a
will your credit card still clear? Yes. Oh, okay.
Right. I mean,
don't worry. The first thing we
Make it
prioritized with PS5 is the optimization to scan your credit card directly into the disk drive. You just put it in there.
Yeah.
It'll just read your chip.
PS camera.
Yeah. Didn't the Xbox have something like that with Kinect at one point?
With code, so you could literally scan a QR code and it would like punch the code straight in.
Yeah, that was cool.
Which is dope. I love that. I love that about the Kinect actually.
True story. I still have mine. I just can't use it.
Yeah, I've still got my Kinect. I can't use mine either.
I didn't buy the damn adapter, and now they're like $200. So I said, fuck that.
Well, technically, I can use my Kinect I've just got to get my old OG Xbox One up.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I got rid of mine. I don't have it.
I've still got it.
Yeah, so fuck that.
The
I got
OG,
rid of it.
big boy, the VCR.
VCR, yeah. Let me take a look here how we're doing on time. We should be wrapping up here in a second. Oh, I died again. Alright, that's a good time. Stop. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, Billy. It was a lot of fun to talk about it. I appreciate everybody who has stuck around and watched and hang out and kind of seen what Billy's game's about. I don't want to discount your partner as well. I just don't know them personally.
No, for sure. I mean, I appreciate you actually doing the, like, you know, given the opportunity to kind of, you know, playing through the game and talk about it. I mean, it's you know, I'm an you know, yes, I'm an ambassador with you guys, but it's also, you know, it's a little passion project. So getting
Yeah.
you know, being able to discuss it while seeing it being played by someone other than me and my partner is just, it's always going to be that kind of you know, tingly feeling kind of moment.
I can totally understand that. I guess that's kind of how I feel when people actually, like, you know, watch our videos. I'm like, oh, people like this, or they at least are giving it the time of day. At this point, I'm okay with people just giving me our shit the time of day, and I think that that means more to me personally. But I know that some others have different.
Or like when me and Mike did the one the other night, the chat was just, wow.
Yeah, I exported it, but I didn't save the chat, which I wish I would have. I didn't set up Streamlabs yet, so people aren't gonna see the chat in the video. So
Billy,
I'm not sure if I want to post it.
just watch the feed via Twitch. The chat is absolutely bonkers. It's
Oh yeah.
crazy.
You can watch it on a VOD, right? And it'll keep the chat there.
Yeah, the chat is crazy.
Yeah, do that.
It's like we had somebody asking for advice on Rocket League so they could get this and to stop it because they wanted that Grand to stop breathing or something. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, it got really weird. It was really strange.
Towards the end it got really bad.
Yeah, I had to shut somebody down. It was not that fun. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah, just like at the very beginning, I don't, you know, you didn't catch the beginning of the stream, but I made sure to let people know, like, hey, like, yes, you're part of our group, yes, you're part of ambassadors, and so like, of course, there's like that, you know, a little bit of inherent bias, but I don't think I think our relationship is such that I can give you genuine criticism about your game, and also know that, like, you know, I'm just telling you because I want you to be the best you can be, and just that, like, I do tell you also, like, hey, like, these are the things I enjoyed that I think you got right, but I also, like, in my own time offline playing the game, I set my expectations, because when I was playing it, I was like, there's certain things that I just we're so used to, that we're accustomed to. Like I said, when you were listening to music and you don't think about production or mixing, and you're like, wow, the guitars are really loud in this, like, what the fuck. But, you know, like, stuff like that is not really appreciated until it's not as apparent. But I also kept that in mind, because I'm like, yo, you guys have whatever. You guys probably poured your most of your own money into this, right? Like, I assume most of this was self-funded, if not all of it.
Yeah, for sure. It all came out of pocket. Whether it was specific assets or anything that we needed to kind of go out our way and kind of specifically source, that was all kind of on us. Like, we had to make that choice, that financial choice there.
Exactly. There was something.
How much?
Go ahead, Daryl.
I was just going to say, how much is there a difference in file size from the PC base to the Android? Because you said the Android's like a couple hundred meg or something.
Yeah, so
160 meg.
Android tops out. So the Android app bundle now is topping out at about 125 megabytes, probably. The PC version is currently, I believe, 180 megabytes. So there was a good few megabytes that had to kind of decrease in size before it was kind of ready to go.
Is Mike bringing it up?
Yeah, the exact size, I believe it's like 150 to. It depends really, because when files get unpacked, because obviously you get the kind of zip files, all the project files already and whatnot. And when the files get unpacked, I suppose it all depends on like compression, like the way Windows kind of compresses files. A lot of these platforms, whether it's Windows, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever it is, they compress things very uniquely, like for their platforms. Like one person will have like a certain file size, another person will have a different one. I don't know. It's weird. It's odd. It's not.
Yeah.
So I've personally had instances like with some games, some of the kind of more popular, bigger, beefier games where, you know, my update has been a certain number of gigabytes, and someone else has been like a gigabyte or two, maybe more, and I'm just like, hang on,
Right.
you know. So it all depends, I guess.
I suppose
yeah, probably
one thing you've. Oh, sorry. Carry on. I was going to say one thing you've probably got in your advantage is, when you look at the actual level design, your textures, you've got your blocks. Would be like the brown with the green. They'll be fairly consistent throughout the game, so that'll save you have to add extra texture files because you can just reuse them. It'll be more. Would I be wrong in guessing that a good chunk of the file size when getting it from PC to Android would be the backgrounds?
Funnily enough, not so much the background as the kind of the level dressing. So you know, particular objects like trees, etc., those kind of things. Anything that's not harming or affecting the player, but is there in the level. Those assets are definitely a hog on file size. But what I'll say is, and it's a little cheeky thing, the kind of fade to black and then fade back from black into like kind of normal thing. That process, that's basically a loading screen. So someone who's got a slower PC, that fade to black and then fading back into the game, that will take longer. So obviously, as we've seen Daryl play, like Mike play, like this is fading out, fading in quite quickly. So his PC is able to load the level very quickly. So the entire level, everything you see from beginning to end, that's all loaded in from the start. So like there's no point where it's like, oh, this is gonna lag because we're having to stream in the textures. So all it comes down to is how quick is your PC able to load in all those textures. And I'd say from about like low mid range kind of PCs upwards should have no problems kind of loading the textures fast. But it's just the quantity of textures, that's the only thing. It's not so much like a so high fidelity to the point it's like you know, crazy, but you get the gist.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you'd had a character in like a city landscape and jumping around, you'd have probably had a bit of a heftier file size.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if we
Because
factor
of
in
those
things
textures.
exactly, if we start factoring in like things potentially in the future, like, you know, co-op or two players or having multiple kind of things happening within the same space and that level, then that's going to significantly not only just file size in terms of, you know, having a bigger file size, but just things like the, you know, CPU performance, GPU performance, that kind of stuff. It's going to be a lot more, you know, here's the recommended specs, here's the minimum specs, and that's going to be a lot more kind of a thing to do.
That's where you might have to start cutting out like mobile devices and stick to console PC because of that
100%.
restrictions on your file size.
Yeah.
100% biggest learning point for sure in this project. And actually tying back to a question that Mike was asking earlier about like what was the best, what was the worst, that was probably another kind of thing that it's not really the worst, it's like a big challenge more than saying it's like straight up the worst thing. Like the feeling of like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to cut so much away from the game because we developed for PC, and then we tried to port like for like to mobile, and it didn't work because mobile development, you have to develop for mobile. Like there's always going to be two builds. You can't have the same build for both things. So that moment where we kind of realized where it was a case of, you know, even though the game is very kind of fun and cutesy and Mario-esque and whatnot, like it still doesn't mean it's going to kind of like for like just straight onto Android or mobile devices in general. So that was a bit of a pickle. iOS is a pain. iOS, I'll say that for sure. I don't know what it is about Apple. I don't know what it is about Apple, and I don't know, like
their OS is not designed for games in any way, shape, or
yeah,
form. Because Mac OS has the same problems.
Exactly. Whether we're looking at PC like Mac OS or whether we're looking at iOS, it's just problematic. Things like screen resolution, UI resolution.
Mac's always built around graphics design. I've got a friend who's
yeah.
his job his graphic design. He had his own business at one point, and it was based around graphic design, and he used Apple Mac.
Yeah, design programs
The game,
and stuff like that are a lot easier on Mac.
I personally don't like Apple products unless it's the edible kind. iPads, not a fan of. iPods, no. Apple Mac, yeah, I'm not going to spend like 3,000 on a MacBook, which the PC equivalent is like 800.
Right.
iTunes was I just hated iTunes.
Oh,
I haven't used it in years. But yeah, I had a Mac for a long time. I like the OS, but I just eventually came to the realization that what I want to do and what I need to do requires a PC. So it's just better for me at this point, honestly.
For sure.
So we're wrapping up. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Is there anything you want to leave off with regarding Epic Squirrel? I got that code. I think I'm just gonna give that to you to give away, because I think that would be the best way to distribute it. Because I've been trying to do so via streams, but I keep forgetting. So like I have the email. I can.
Maybe you can't just do one of these random generator things where people say I want it and it just picks out the random generator thing just picks out a random.
Yeah, he could do like a random draw or something if he wanted. However he wants to do it, I'll just give him the code that I bought, and you can distribute it however you'd like.
For sure. I mean, yeah, no, 100%. So, but yeah, in terms of like a kind of parting note about Epic Squirrel, I do anyone watching and kind of seeing the game being played and has who's been kind of listening to the conversation about the game, I do appreciate it. I do appreciate your interest in the game and the support so far, for sure. I mean, we're just two guys. We're just two blokes who studied game design in university and had this crazy dream of becoming a independent studio. So
yeah,
this is just the start of that journey. So all the support so far, how big or small, whatever the case is, we're truly humbled and appreciative of the support, and we look forward to just continue to grow and learn and make games that you guys, anyone watching and listening, and that you're going to enjoy playing. That's the goal, really.
Just think, in 10 years' time, we'll be playing in 8K, 200 frames a second, seeing Cecily the Squirrel gun down people attacking the forest in a glorious first-person shooter.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Bingo.
That would be a crazy game, actually. I would play that.
Be a spin-off. That'd be like a spin-off.
Be like his Rambo game.
Yeah, Cecily.
Give him a nice
Cecily
little like Rambo headband. Give him a little nice bullet
it'll be Cecily. It'll be Cecily. The game art will be Cecily holding Duke's severed head, like blood dripping out the neck. Just that is grim. Jesus.
Cecily's Revenge 3. This Revenge of the Squirrel.
Yeah.
Right.
This
Squirrel
one
Strikes Back.
The Doom ripoff. This is the Doom ripoff, but it's a still platformer. Or you could make it like Doom. You could just make it like Doom.
The Last Squirrel.
There we go.
Yeah. The Last Squirrel. Yeah.
Cecily, the Last Squirrel. I love that.
Amazing.
Oh, the ideas are just flowing now.
That's too funny. All right, well, I appreciate you coming in here. I'm glad we could talk about your game. It was a lot of fun. I actually had a lot of fun playing it. Though, to be honest, I was having some trouble. So, but that's more on me, I think, than anything. Except for that one snag I had. Oh
yeah.
And I know. So, have you ever watched AVGM before we go?
AVGM.
Angry Video Game Nerd.
Familiar with the name, but I don't think I've watched it for a while.
Well, he does. For anybody who, for some reason, doesn't know who he is, he's old YouTube culture. But one of his big sticklers when he plays like NES, SNES is that the drawback in old games. Like you would jump over a ledge, for example, and maybe somebody would shoot a projectile at you, and then it would pull you back into the hole. I don't know if you saw that, but like I landed on the ledge, and then it was just like, actually, no, you didn't. And it just pulled me back into the ledge and dropped me off. Yeah. I was like, you fuck.
I literally saw that.
I was so bad.
And then you managed to, like, somehow, while still kind of not on the ledge, you managed to kind of jump back onto the platform that was kind of working its way back up again. I was like... Thank God.
I'm really good at jumping in games. That's like my one talent. What's going on?
That's a load of rubbish. You were good at Rainbow. Don't put yourself down.
Yeah, I did much better as a noob than I expected, honestly. So that felt good. But I think that's it for us today. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're gonna do tomorrow. Literally played this by ear. I hit up Billy like yesterday or something, and I was like, hey, do you want to do this today or tomorrow or whatever? Like, cause I'm open to whatever. I really don't plan these streams out. I want them to be a little bit different. So every time you come in, maybe we'll be playing games. Maybe we'll just chill with chat. Maybe we'll be talking with the ambassadors and hanging in chat. I don't know. We'll figure out whatever the hell we're gonna do every stream. I make it up as I come. Up to the day.
That's what makes it beautiful.
Right. You never know. It's like Russian roulette, but like not harmful. There's no bad streams. Well, maybe. We're on a roll, so I'm not gonna try to jinx myself. Knock on wood, and all that. So, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate everybody who joined us today, and we'll be back tomorrow.
For sure. Salutations.
All right. Bye, everybody.